Dakota Johnson shocks when she claims, "I have nothing to do with Jamie Dornan." The small room in Dakota's rented Los Angeles mansion was a midnight blur of warm yellow table lamps and pale shadows behind the curtains. Dakota Johnson sat at the dressing table, her face tired under a layer of light makeup. She looked in the mirror, her eyes strained, her hands shaking slightly as she held the phone. She had been thinking for a long time tonight. For weeks, the relationship between Jamie Dornan and her had been distorted by the media, with rumors that she was the cause of Jamie's family rift, that she was dragged into internal troubles. The articles said Jamie's family was worried about the publicity that would follow, that they wanted her to be quiet, that she was on the outside but still included in everything. She had been silent for too long. But now, she knew, if she didn't speak up, her silence would be taken as admission. She stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the dark night sky, the distant streetlights. She took a deep breath and turned back to the table, her fingers gently stroking the microphone she had prepared, a small recording device that she would use to record her words. She turned on the camera, the small light flashing, and began, "I have nothing to do with it," a declaration in the middle of the night. The camera slowly panned from the room to Dakota's face. She adjusted her hair, took a deep breath, and then looked straight into the lens. "Hello everyone, I am Dakota Johnson. I know that there have been a lot of rumors, speculations, even accusations about me, about Mr. and Mrs. Dornan, about the so-called emotional debt, about the bad luck that I supposedly bring. Today, I want to make it clear, I ask Jamie Dornan's family not to drag me into their troubles. I have nothing to do with their private matters, if they do not drag me into them." Her voice was steady, confident, but not lacking in emotion. "I'm not someone who wants to take a position or interfere in anyone's family. I came to Jamie Dornan, if you want to believe that, not to destroy, not to cause division. I came with love, with emotion, not to be a catalyst for conflicts that only they understand." She took a breath, her eyes flashing. "When those close to him don't see me, they say I'm the third wheel, the troublemaker. When I want to keep the peace, they say I try to highlight myself. When I'm silent, they say I compromise with all the rumors. They say I hold influence, that I influence his decisions, things I never did. I'm not a troublemaker. I'm an outsider, but if they continue to drag me into their battles, I'll respond with words. I won't accept slander by silence." She looked down, held the microphone, then raised her head. "I am not responsible for the things they dare not face. If they have hurt feelings, if there are unclear things, please let them resolve them themselves. Do not use my name, do not use me as a card to distract public opinion. Do not try to drag me into the mess of a family that I am not a member of. If he loves me, then he knows the value of the truth. If his family has doubts, then ask him directly, do not use me as an object of gossip. I do not want to step into the dramas staged by others. I want to stand in a clean position, if that is still allowed." She smiled tiredly, her eyes slightly red with tension. "I have endured the slander, but from now on, I will not let myself be exploited by others' words. I ask, do not drag me into the Dornan family's troubles if they do not want me there. I am not involved. If they want me to be silent, let me be silent. But do not make me endure things I did not do." The camera fell silent, the lights dimmed, she turned off the camera, quietly stood up, and left the room. The storm of reaction, the video of Dakota's statement went viral, social media and the press exploded. The headlines appeared, Dakota Johnson responds to the Dornan family, "I have nothing to do with it." Shocking statement, Dakota Johnson asks to stop dragging her name into trouble, romance drama, Dakota Johnson bluntly addresses Jamie Dornan's family. Controversial comments. Dakota supporters, she's too brave to speak out. The Dornan family should respect her. Detractors, she's making up stories to gain control of public opinion. A neutral person, this story is more complicated than it seems. No one knows what really happened. Meanwhile, the Dornan family, there's a muted reaction, silent posts, anonymous sources say they're surprised and disappointed, but no one has spoken out. Jamie Dornan, the central character, is facing a lot of pressure. He's caught between family responsibilities and personal feelings. He knows that Dakota's words will force him to act, to choose, but how? Silent night and confession. One night later, Dakota lay in her empty room, the light was soft. She opened the window, the night wind filtered through the curtains and the rustling of leaves drifted in. She wondered, were her words too strong? Would this voice cause more cracks? She remembered when she first met Jamie, she remembered his smile, the long, late conversations, the times he held her comfortingly when she was scared by their princess lights. She believed every love needed space, not loud, not made up. She cried softly, not out of hatred, but out of exhaustion at being the go-between for people she didn't know. She was born with it. I just want to love for real, not be an entertainment. She was automatic. If they wanted to drag her in, she would have spoken. She couldn't be silent anymore. The unexpected meeting. According to the fictional scenario, Jamie Dornan couldn't let things drag on any longer. He proposed a face-to-face meeting between Dakota and his family, not in the glare of the media, but in a private space where everyone could talk to each other without microphones, without cameras. That day, at a small beach villa, beside the sound of the waves, Dakota walked into the large living room where the Dornan family was waiting. Jamie's parents, siblings, everyone was there. Jamie stood in the middle, eyes confused. Dakota walked slowly, looking around. The room was quiet, only soft breathing and curious eyes. She took a deep breath. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak directly. I don't want to use words through the press anymore. I'm here to speak directly to all of you. My request, keep my name out of the troubles you think your family has. I have nothing to do with it. When rumors say I caused conflict, caused disintegration, that's not me. I didn't come to destroy other people's homes. If there are misunderstandings, ask me. Don't slander. If there are doubts, discuss them. Don't use me as a subject. I refuse to be associated with things I'm not the subject of. She paused, looking at each face. Some were pensive, some looked down. Jamie stood silently beside her. Jamie's father, in the fictional version, spoke up after a moment. Dakota, we've heard a lot of things that worry us. We've heard that you've been neglecting your family. We're worried that you're a burden, a threat to your family's well-being. We want to protect you, protect your children. Dakota replied immediately, I understand the worry. I worry too, but don't use your worry as a tool to say things that aren't true. If Jamie loves me, trust him. Ask him questions, don't pin suspicions on me. I'm not asking him to choose between me and the family. If he had a choice, he would have. The conversation lasted for hours, long enough for rumors to be exposed, long enough for misunderstandings to be questioned. Sometimes words were exchanged, sometimes tears rolled down cheeks. But in the end, no one won, but no one left feeling resentful. 6. Tears and promises. As the night faded, they stood outside the hall under the warm yellow light. Jamie held Dakota's hand, looked at his mother, looked at his father, looked at his brother, and said, I know there are things between me and my family, but she doesn't deserve to be dragged into it. Dakota, you're not a destroyer. You came to me with sincerity, not with scheming. Amelia, The wife version in other scenarios, not appearing here, was absent. But in the Dornan family, some were silent, some sighed. Dakota looked up at their faces, her voice soft. I don't expect immediate blessings. I just want my existence to be respected. Don't drag my name into things I'm not the subject of. That's a small request of a person who is truly in love. The yellow light shone down on him in the night wind, and in the sound of the waves, there was a silence like rebirth.